How can these 7 Bible verses remind us that God is faithful, even in tough times? Life can get really tough, and it's in those moments that we need to be reminded of God's faithfulness. It's easy to feel like we're alone, like God has forgotten about us, but the Bible tells us a different story. These 7 Bible verses are here to encourage and comfort you, to help you hold on to faith when life gets hard. The Bible is full of examples of people who faced incredible challenges, and yet they still trusted in God. They still believed that He was good, that He was faithful, and that He had a plan. And that's what we want to focus on today, how God's faithfulness can sustain us through life's hardships. When we're going through a tough time, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that's exactly when we need to cling to God's promises. These verses will help you do just that. God's Word is like a lamp to our feet, guiding us through the darkest times. And that's what we're going to explore today. The first Bible verse that reminds us of God's faithfulness is Deuteronomy 31 verse 6. It says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This verse was given to Joshua as he was about to lead the Israelites into the Promised Land, a place filled with giants and uncertainties. But God promised to be with him, to strengthen him, and to give him courage. What's amazing about this verse is that it shows us that God's faithfulness isn't just about getting us out of a difficult situation, but about being with us in the midst of it. He's not a God who abandons us when things get tough, He's a God who walks with us through the fire. Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 is more than just a verse, it's a promise. It's a promise that we can hold on to, no matter what we're facing. And it's not just for Joshua, it's for us too. This verse can bring us comfort because it reminds us that we're not alone. God is with us, wherever we go. The second Bible verse is Psalm 23 verse 4, which says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff comfort me." This psalm was written by David, a man who knew what it was like to face hard times. He was a shepherd, and he had to protect his sheep from predators. But even in the darkest moments, he knew that God was with him. Psalm 23 verse 4 is a powerful reminder that God's presence is what brings us peace. It's not the absence of problems that gives us peace, it's the presence of God. David's trust in God was rooted in his experiences as a shepherd. He knew that God was his shepherd, guiding and protecting him. This verse shows us that faith isn't about avoiding hard times, it's about trusting God in the midst of them. The third Bible verse is Romans 8 verse 28, which says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse is often quoted, but it's not just a cliché, it's a promise. It's a promise that God is working everything out for our good. Romans 8 verse 28 can be hard to understand when we're in the middle of a tough time. How can God be working everything out for our good when it feels like everything is falling apart? But that's exactly when we need to hold on to this verse. We need to trust that God is working, even when we can't see it. This verse reminds us that God's plan is bigger than our problems. He's not just concerned with getting us out of a difficult situation, He's concerned with making us like Jesus. The fourth Bible verse is Isaiah 41 verse 10, which says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. do not be frightened, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This verse is a direct promise from God to his people. Isaiah 41 verse 10 is a powerful reminder that God's strength is available to us. We don't have to face our problems alone, we can face them with God's strength. This verse shows us that God's presence is what gives us courage. When we know that He's with us, we can face anything. God's promise to us is that He will strengthen us and help us. He's not just a distant God, He's a God who is intimately involved in our lives. The fifth Bible verse is 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17, which says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." This verse puts our problems into perspective. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17 reminds us that our troubles are temporary. They may seem like they're going to last forever, but they're not. This verse shows us that God's plan is not just about getting us through this life, it's about preparing us for eternity. Our problems may seem overwhelming, but they're not compared to the glory that awaits us. The sixth Bible verse is Philippians 4 verse 13, which says, "I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." This verse is often taken out of context, but it's a powerful reminder that God's strength is available to us. Philippians 4 verse 13 shows us that our ability to face problems comes from God. We can't do it on our own, we need His strength. This verse reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles. God is with us, and He gives us the strength we need. When we know that God's strength is available to us, we can face anything. The seventh Bible verse is Psalm 121 verse 3, which says, "He will not let your foot slip, He who watches over you will not slumber." This verse is a beautiful reminder that God is always watching over us. Psalm 121 verse 3 shows us that God's care for us is constant. He's always watching, always working. This verse reminds us that we can trust God to take care of us. He's not going to let us fall, He's going to hold us up. When we know that God is watching over us, we can rest in His care. These 7 Bible verses remind us that God is faithful, even in tough times. They remind us that He's with us, that He's working everything out for our good, and that He's strong enough to get us through anything. As we reflect on these verses, let's remember that God's faithfulness is not dependent on our circumstances. It's dependent on His character. If you're going through a hard time, I want to encourage you to hold on to these verses. Write them down, memorize them, and repeat them to yourself when you need to be reminded of God's faithfulness. Which of these verses spoke to you the most? Share with us in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to our channel for more videos on faith and spirituality. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.